Hello, Derek. It's great to be with you here today and have a chat with you. You are one of our Evolve Leadership Summit speakers, and you're going to be speaking on moving from reactive management into having more strategic focus as a leader. So I wanted to have a chat with you about what you'll be speaking about and what kind of conversations you hope to spark. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you.
Great. So just off the top, why did you decide to be part of our Evolve Leadership Summit?
First off, anything that you're doing, Rochelle, I want to be a part of. The work that you're doing is so important with organizations, so I am really excited to even have the opportunity to be a part of it. The second is leadership in general. I believe that one of the things is a common challenge that we have in organizations that is keeping them under functioning and underperforming is how we lead. So any opportunity to speak about different paradigms around leadership versus management is an opportunity I want to be a part of.
Great. Well, thank you. And I always want to be part of whatever you're doing too, because we worked together a long time and you have such amazing experience to share with people. And our theme is bridging the wisdom of experience with leadership of the future. So in your world and the work that you're doing with clients and with organizations, what does that look like to you right now?
Well, in my world, I work a lot with founders of businesses, CEOs, high level leaders in companies. And one of the things that I'm noticing, which is really interesting, is that they seem to be the center of everything. They seem to be the center of the knowledge, and especially with founders. Founders are the people who started the company. They were the ones who created all the systems, the processes. They're the ones who had the knowledge to start the company. And what happens is that they seem to keep all of that decision making ability and that knowledge warehouse within themselves. So people come to them all the time for their decisions. They're involved in every meeting, they're involved in every decision. And really, it is creating a ton of stress. It's creating huge bottlenecks in companies, and we need to help to move them away from that. The other thing it's doing is it's disempowering employees and not developing them to their full potential. And that's one of the things that I'm seeing on a regular basis. We say that knowledge is power, and we live in an information age, but it can also be a curse. When our company employees see one person as the core base of the knowledge, instead of figuring things out on their own, they go to that person. And that's not what we want for our companies to be functioning fully. We want people to be able to figure things out on their own. There is so much knowledge out there, it doesn't have to come from one person inside.
And what we also find too is that employees don't want to go to their leader who is overstretched because they don't want to be the one that creates that tipping point. And so they tend to try
Absolutely.
to work through things on their own, but they haven't necessarily been skilled up to do so. What?
Exactly.
Yeah. Without giving it all away, what kind of conversations are you hoping to spark with your session?
Well, I really want to spark some conversations around time and team. So, a lot of these challenges are creating major obstacles around time with our leaders today. They are so stretched, their calendars are packed. And I know this, I've seen it, I've worked with tons of leaders, and they all look the same. And it becomes a time challenge, not just there, but then at home. And it creates a lot of guilt in their whole lives. And all that stress is an issue too. So we know that stress is a big killer. It shortens our lifespans. So we don't want our leaders to actually be under that much stress because we want them leading our company. The thing about time though to fix that issue is that it can't be fixed alone. It has to be in conjunction with looking at our teams, how we structure them and how we function them. So those two things have to go hand in hand. And we need to find ways that we're able to change how we lead in the workplace to create high performing teams that can get more done and free up the time for the leaders to actually lead.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a lot of really good conversation because everyone at the conference is going to have had a personal experience with that, have felt, what it's like to try to piece your work into 10-minute increments because you've got everything back to back. So I think there's going to be a ton of experience sharing and peer learning from there too. So in your opinion, with what you're wanting to share, who do you think needs to be in the room?
Everybody. One of the things that I love about leadership is it's not limited to formal managers. People have been put into that role to lead. Leadership is something that's internal to all of us. We like to refer to the term as self-leadership. Leadership is the way that we lead ourselves, it's the way that we lead others, and it can be in a formal leadership arrangement where you're a supervisor or a manager or a director or a VP or whatever, and it can be in an informal form of leadership where you are the person who's just taking the lead on the project because no one else jumped in. Anyone who's involved or has an interest in leadership and leading a different way, I would love to see there. More so, I would even love to see those leaders that are struggling. There are lots of people who get promoted. They do a really good job in their job. They get promoted into a management position. I love middle management. That's a passion of mine. I was a middle manager and I love it. And I love being able to succeed in that. And I love helping other middle managers because they're the ones I feel are under the most pressure. They get promoted into the job. They're never really trained to be a leader. They never necessarily even wanted to be a leader. They were just the best person at their job, so they became the leader. They were the next one in line for promotion. And in that middle manager job, they've got their higher level that they're really busy too, so they don't get a lot of mentoring or training on how to be a leader from them. And they're responsible for large teams that have to perform and provide results for the company. So that middle management layer is something that I think is a big focus for companies to be more successful. It's really getting that layer functioning at a high level, because only a couple layers down you've got your client. So if we can have that impact, then that's going to be seen and felt by the clients, and that's just going to help your business grow.
And that's a super important point. We know people tend to talk about internally, but the effect is actually on the client or customer that you're serving. And if you don't have them, where's your organization going to be? And also, to your point, is that then upper leadership too has to work at a lower level in order to fill in the gaps. So they aren't able to fulfill their role either.
Yeah, absolutely. And once we work with this, I say I love middle management, but it applies to everybody. So middle manager might be managing their team of staff. The director might be managing their team of middle managers. The VP is managing their team of directors. All goes together. It's how we lead across an organization. And if we can develop a leadership culture that's consistent across all those levels, well, that's when we'll really be flying.
And I love what you said earlier is when you model that, you actually create leadership within everybody, whatever their role is. They will take more of a leadership, ownership kind of approach to what they're doing if that's modeled around them as well. So, yeah. Another question is sort of what's one shift or insight that you hope someone takes? If they could take away one thing, what do you think would be the key thing you want them to walk away with?
The key thing I want them to walk away with is the big mind-blowing thing. Anything is possible, because everything feels impossible. Like any kind of changes or shifts may feel impossible when you look at your calendar. Well, how am I supposed to do that? Yeah, I agree with you, but how am I supposed to do that? Things are possible, but they do require effort, and it's effort put in a different area. So if I want people to walk away with something, it's this one concept, is that leaders need to prioritize leading. Sometimes we're put into a role, we're leading a team, and we're expecting the team to just perform. But it's important that as leaders that we set that team up for high performance. And that requires some effort. So leaders need to dedicate time to lead their team. And there's lots of different pieces that go into that. And I could talk about that forever. I know you could too, Rochelle, about all of the aspects of that are so important. And we need to find a way to rebuild people's time, to carve out sections daily, weekly, monthly for dedicated leadership of the teams, to get them to that high performing level. I believe that teams want to be high performing, that it feels better to be high performing, and that there are pieces that need to be in place to be able to perform at that level.
And I can attest to that. I mean, where you think there is absolutely zero time, and you'll bet a lot of money that there's no more time left, you've actually been very helpful in showing me that yes, there is time in a different way. So I have always really valued that. So just to wrap up, is there sort of one leadership principle or mindset that you're leaning into that's really inspiring you these days around leadership?
The thing that I'm leaning into and that really gets me inspired is people, and the absolute abilities that people have when we're able to put them into a place where their genius can show through. I have a strong belief that everybody wants to do good. I can't see anyone who actually wakes up in the morning going, well, I'm going to see if I can do the crappiest job possible today and see if I can get away with it. That doesn't feel good. People want to do well. They want to feel good about their contribution. And that helps them go home at the end of the day with their head high and their chest proud. And I start with that core belief in people. And when we're able to find the genius in people, what people are really good at, what they're great at, what they love to do, and we can really tune into that in a company for every one of our staff, that can have amazing results. And I say this because one of my soapboxes is we often have people in roles, and those roles have responsibilities. It's a job description that those people were originally hired for. And in that job description, that tends to define what they do. So one of my passions in companies is to get beyond the job description and to learn more about what skills, abilities, passions, loves that people have experiences that they can bring to the team to any situation, whether it's within their job description or not. So we look for the company problem and we look for the people who have the best ability to solve that problem, and then we pair those things together and we can create amazing things. So that's one of the things that I'm really leaning into these days, is for the leaders I work with to really know what are the talents of the people that you have, not just what they had on their resume.
And also beyond what you see day to day that might just be hidden under the surface.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm very excited, and I'm so grateful to you for spending time with us in November at our leadership conference, and being there to engage with the audience and share your wisdom and experience. And also, I know you're very transparent. You'll also share the tough lessons that you learned along the way, and those are super valuable. So excited to have you there. I look forward to spending time with you, and appreciate the time to have this conversation with me.
Yeah, it was awesome, Rochelle. I'm always excited to spend time with you, and I'm really looking forward to the Evolve Summit in one of my favorite places in the world, right in the middle of our beautiful, majestic Rocky Mountains.
It's a great place to learn and reset.
Yes.
Thank you, Derek.
All right. Have a
Okay,
great day.
bye for now.
Bye bye.